Welcome back, everyone. After another week here, we are starting After Hours. No, that's not going to work. Let's go again.
Leave,
Round two.
leave that part in.
Okay, I'm going to leave it in. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Here we are at After Hours. My name is Riley Eberts.
We're going in a circle here.
Yeah.
I'm Justin Beckler.
I'm Bramman Edwards.
And I'm Rochelle.
And this week I had the choice of doing two movies for the selection. And the theme for this one was kind of, they all have won Oscars and they were all nominated for Best Picture in the last 10 years. But the more surprising thing was that each one was very unique in not only winning Best Picture, but being the first of its kind to win the Best Picture. So the first one I offered was CODA, and CODA won Best Picture in 2021. It's basically about this girl who has a family of deaf parents and a brother. She's the only one who can speak, and sorry, she's the only one that can hear. Okay, let's take that again. Okay, so CODA basically is about a family who are all hearing impaired except for the main girl. So she's basically been the interpreter for the beginning of her life, pretty much, with this family. And she has decided to go to choir in high school. And from choir, she's developed this love and passion for singing. And it's basically their relationship and story as she decides to take different steps in her life that grow her apart from her family. And it's just them learning to kind of understand how to make their way without her. So that one was important because it was the first time a male supporting actor who is hearing impaired had ever won an Oscar for his supporting role. Very cool. And also, fun fact, most of those people who were casted actually are hearing impaired and are part of the deaf community. So it was really cool to see that representation, which was also the first time ever seen that at the Oscars. So really cool. Second option was Moonlight. Basically, it was about different chapters of a man's life growing up in Miami. And we kind of were interested in that one as well. The big thing about that movie is it had a predominantly African American cast, which is also kind of a first for the Oscars. And it was the first time the main character, so the lead, who ends up being gay, won. So that was the first time that's ever happened in Oscar history with somebody being gay as the main character winning an Oscar for that role. So pretty crazy. And it's pretty crazy to think that that's only been within the 10 years of that time frame. So
How long have the Oscars been around?
Oof. Oh boy.
I don't know.
Probably like closer to 80, I think, or 90.
I think so. Yeah, I actually saw a movie the other day. It was like the first movie that won Best Picture, and it was like called, I think, Wings, and it was like, I think it was like set in the late 20s. It's like, it's crazy to imagine that pretty much the dawn of cinema, or like, that it came not too long after. So
Making a lot of steps and a lot of firsts recently.
A lot of progressive steps.
It's pretty cool. I like it. I like the representation.
anyways, what did we all decide for the movie?
Well, hey, audience, you read the title. You know what we picked. We picked 2021 film CODA.
Yep.
That one was listen, we're gonna tell you guys right now, I don't think we've told this before on the podcast. Watch the movie first So then once you watch the movie, you can come back and listen to us talk about it, and you can kind of follow along with us and maybe agree and disagree on some of our points. So please go watch this film. We watch this on what streaming platform?
Apple TV.
Apple TV.
We got a free 7-day trial, so you can do the same thing.
This is the first time we've used an Apple TV subscription because we were like, you know what, we're curious about it. So listen, Apple,
Sponsor us.
no,
Yeah.
we highly recommend watching this movie. I think I can say that for everyone. I really enjoyed this movie. What did everyone else think?
It was a emotional ride, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very endearing and heartwarming. So they were like mainly like happy tears, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But I did tear up a couple times. It did roll down the cheeks.
I'm just reading the description of the film CODA, and it is labeled as a musical/romance.
I guess,
I don't think that fits.
I don't think so
The
either.
musical is a little
Like, if someone's like, "Oh, want to watch a musical?" Like, this is not gonna be like fall under the same category as like any like,
And romance?
it's more
like
like
Yeah.
a
Disney
coming of
film.
age.
That's what I
almost.
would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming of age.
I see a little bit of romance in there.
But-
romantic.
But
kind of
at the same time, like, it had romance as every other high school coming of age movie has romance. It's
Yeah.
like-
In a way, less I found with this one. Like, it wasn't too much about.
No,
Yeah.
but she did go into choir because of him.
Yeah, but it wasn't totally around.
It wasn't based around romance.
those,
I feel like the
no.
story would have progressed without him
Yeah.
Yeah.
in a way, but I guess at the same time, he was technically the inciting
Yeah,
incident.
he was.
He was.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
She kind of hated him for a lot of the film.
it's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
Good for her.
For
Lovers quarrel.
a lot of the film felt like I really enjoyed it, but I think I enjoyed more after kind of things went sideways. Up to that point, I was getting a little bored, honestly, because it felt like a really standard like high school coming of age movie, and like it had we were talking about this a little bit during the movie, but it had like all of the tropes. Girl being bullied, girl likes guy who bully also likes, like it had all of the tropes, which I mean, like I liked the parts with her and her family, but I really was getting bored of the parts in the school. If that makes sense.
I agree. But one thing I will disagree on is her relationship with the music teacher and how it progressed. Because right away I was just like, frick this guy. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to waste my time with this dude. But like the second interaction that our main character had with him, it was kind of like, this, you know what, he's all right. And then as it progressed, it was like, I like this guy. I actually really liked his acting. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, but let's be honest though, no high school would ever hire that man.
I don't think so.
No, he that is not proper teaching etiquette.
Mhm.
I don't know. I had some pretty crappy band teachers back in high school. So hopefully they are not listening, but they were kind of some dicks. So
I've never taken any sort of music course on memory. Maybe guitar. I was awful at it. Recorder. We've all played the recorder. Hot cross buns. Yeah.
yeah, I blocked that one out.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, not a lot of music history here. However, the singing was very good.
Yeah,
I was really impressed with it actually, and I even mentioned that they needed to hire an actress that was a good actress, but also a good singer. And I think you mentioned, Riley, that she had a lot of training.
Like she had 9 months of training to figure out not only how to sing, but how to sign and then how to fish, because the movie is basically the family trying to run this fishing business. And she's the only one who can actually communicate to people who can't speak sign. So yeah, so she wakes up every morning at 3 and goes fishing with her dad and her brother, which is crazy. So yeah,
That's incredible.
yeah.
Honestly, really, really talented. I'm just gonna pull up her name right now because I feel like there should be a lot of credit there. Amelia Jones. Wow.
Canadian actor or actress, right? Yeah.
I think that was somebody else
Oh, okay,
actually.
Just kidding.
But I mean, regardless, I was really pleased with the acting. I thought the acting was really, really good. What did you guys think?
I thought it was phenomenal. I think the brother and the dad. I'm not sure who the we can look right now.
We're gonna check right now.
We have the internet right now. We have the internet here.
So the father was Troy.
Yep,
Oh.
Troy, and then the brother was Daniel Durant, and Troy Kotzer.
So the father was the one that won the Oscar
Well,
for Best Supporting Actor, and that's the first time anyone who is hearing impaired has ever won that. So
well deserved. I thought he did a phenomenal job. I think most of the scenes that, I'll be real, I teared up a few times.
Yeah,
And I think most of the scenes that I teared up were with the father, with that character. It was just the relationship between the two of them it felt like real, and it felt like he wanted to support her, but he just didn't really understand that world that she was a part of. Right.
Mm.
And I think one of the most powerful scenes to me was when the family is watching her perform and then all the audio cuts out.
great.
And it's like,
great sequence.
it's like from their perspective, kind of what is going on. And all they could tell was like the reactions of the people around them of how well she was singing. And I thought that was like almost like it felt so real in a way. And it just hit me. It hit me different. And I was tearing up a bit. And then the scene at the end nearing the end when she's singing for just her father, and he has like his hand on her throat so he can like feel
the vibrations.
And I thought that was also a really powerful scene. Really, really strong performances from everybody.
I find that the family, the family dynamic felt very, very genuine. Like it felt like a very real family. Like it has its problems, but it also has its ups and its downs, and it has its ups and its downs and all of that. And I think it worked really, really well. I think the part where I felt like most at home, funny enough, was the scenes with the whole family. I thought it was really, really well done.
how about the fact that like how engaging the conversations are that they have with one another when they're signing? Like it's very interesting to obviously, like, we have to read the subtitles for it because we don't know much sign. Well, you guys know a bit of sign.
Yeah, a little bit of signing history on my end, just a little bit.
Yeah, but for us, we didn't know any. So when we were watching it, we were reading it and looking at their facial expressions. And I felt like extremely engaged in everything. Not just because I had to read it, but because it was like conveyed very well. Like they weren't saying anything, but you could see how they felt. And I just felt like that was very impressive because there'll be conversations that I listen to that I can obviously hear and I tune out. So like the fact that I'm so engaged with it, I thought was a very interesting thing on a filmmaking perspective. So
There was that moment when the music teacher asked her what it is that you feel when you sing. And she didn't say anything, but instead she signed, and there was no subtitles for that. I think that was really nice to put us in the music teacher's shoes to understand what it is that she's feeling. And yeah, at first I was kind of like, what do you mean? But you can see the emotion that she has on her face and the signs that she's making. You kind of just know what she's feeling. So I felt like a lot of their them conveying their sign language through their facial and their physical expressions and stuff, even without the subtitles, you can have an idea of what it is that they're trying to say.
Well,
I thought it was really well done.
You can see the emotion
Oh,
like so
100%.
clearly, right? Like I think there's a few scenes with the brother who also like he did a phenomenal job, and just the almost raw emotion as he signed, like he was almost like bigger with it in a way, and it didn't feel over the top at all, but it felt very emotional, and like he's obviously got some insecurities about being the older brother and not as, in his eyes, not as important as she is because he can't hear, but and that came through really well with his like bigger almost performance, right?
Totally.
Very, very strong. Yeah. What about the cinematography? Did anything stand out to you guys?
Oh man. See, here's the thing. Honestly, I'm a little bit embarrassed about it. I was so engaged with the story when we met that middle point because of the first half, I was kind of like, I was pointing out oh, we're hitting the high school tropes again. Oh, we're hitting the high school tropes again. But once we hit that halfway mark, I was more engaged with the story that I wasn't paying that much attention to the cinematography. And I hate to say it because we normally talk about a little bit of everything, but I just felt like the story was so good. I just was so engaged with it that the cinematography, I unfortunately didn't pay that much attention to. What did you guys think?
I thought it was just alright. Like, the visual aspect of it wasn't anything, like, super, like, outstanding or anything like that. Not that it necessarily needed it, because, like, it felt kind of more, like, raw and real. So, yeah, I just remember, like, the first few shots, I was just like, oh, like, they aren't, like... Because you think of, like, Oscar-winning movies, and sometimes, like, some of the other shots are, like, so... Like, oh, this is really nicely shot. But it was just kind of, like, average, I would say. For
I would
me.
say that too. The only time I ever really noticed the cinematography was the last shot. And it was a shot of her out of the car and she was doing the I love you too. And then I was just thinking of the car rig that they would have done to like do that sort of shot. But as far as light, I try to pull myself back a little bit out of the story to like look at the lighting. And it just I felt the same way when I first started watching it. I was like, this doesn't seem anything that would be like considered like different, like you know what I mean, or like artistic, or like it just seems like a pretty naturally lit kind of, I don't want to say generic, but nothing like crazy noticeable, you know? So
Nothing super dynamic.
yeah, and then I was kind of like, oh, I did feel a little bored at the beginning because I was trying to like find something that was creative and different, and I felt like it was going for the tropes a little bit. But then when the story started to develop, that's when I started to realize, oh, this is actually why this was nominated.
Mhm.
And it's kind of nice actually because you see a lot of films now and everything you feel like needs to be shot so beautifully and everything needs to be so dynamic and different and unique, and it kind of was nice to just have it all about the story, and it did just feel like it was all about the story and their relationship. So yeah, and I definitely liked the way that the one thing I noticed was their blocking, so the way that they set up the characters and the family all together. I love the relationship they had on the camera, and I feel like that helped a lot with creating that closeness as a
Mhm.
family. But it all felt like really natural. I never was like, "Whoa, look at that shaky handheld,"
Yeah.
or "Oh, that's shot on a gimbal," or whatever. Like I never really noticed. So
Yeah, the story and the actors' performances really drove like the whole film home. And again, I was so engaged with that I just kind of blocked out the whole filmmaking side of it.
That's a sign of a good movie, though,
I mean, it
right?
is.
Because I find when I start picking apart like a movie's cinematography or lighting, that's when I'm not engaged with it because I'm bored and I'm like, oh, well, I know how they lit that shot. Oh, I know how they did that. But this movie, I think it's a testament to the movie. Like you say, like kind of our general consensus is that the cinematography was nothing like grandiose, over the top, special like that. But I think in its own way, it was very special because it felt real and it felt almost a little gritty. And I think that played so well into the movie itself because it was never taking away from what was happening. It was adding to it. It looked simple enough. It looked like the real world. It wasn't anything special. And was I think that was an amazing directorial choice for the film because it let the acting and the story tell the story.
Be the
Right.
movie, really.
Exactly.
and I think that's like an inspiring thing for us, you know, like it is one thing to see a movie and be like, that's an insane shot, like the budget is crazy and all this stuff, but like this is, I would say, a movie that has come out And just even looking at the production companies that worked with the movie prior, at the very beginning, I didn't recognize any of them.
Mm.
So, I mean, I think Apple TV, had some sort of partnership in the movie or whatever, since it is on Apple TV. But I think it's really inspiring to see that, like, we don't need to do crazy stuff and, have these crazy rigs or crazy forms of equipment to try and pull off these specialized shots. It can really just come down to really good writing and really good development of the characters to like carry you through and get you an Oscar, which is, I think, super impressive. So
That's all you need.
That being said, there were a couple
all
of
you
shots in
need.
there that I
like the
thought
song, Justin.
Oh yeah.
All you need. Sorry.
there were a couple shots that I thought were quite like extremely beautiful. There's a shot near the end when the family like pulls up to their house, and there's like you just the house is kind of in the lower half of the frame, and you see like this night sky and like stars in the background. I thought that shot was like, even it was a totally still shot, but I thought it was like really beautiful. A couple shots like that. A lot of the fishing stuff I thought was really well done too. Like the whole like cinematography on the fishing boat I thought was really cool. It felt really real.
Yeah, I never even noticed the editing, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never was like, oh, that's a interesting tight shot, or oh, that's a very interesting over the shoulder, or I never even noticed it. Like, it all just felt very natural, which I think is like that to me sounds like it's awesome editing then. Because if you don't even notice the cuts or notice the edit, everything feels seamless and smooth, then that's pretty dang good. So I have an interesting question.
Ooh, all right.
How do you feel like you would let me rephrase it. How do you think you would feel about the movie if the family was not hearing impaired? Do you feel like it would have as much weight? Obviously, there's the majority of the story is about the fact that they have this kind of hearing disability, but do you feel like that movie would have carried at all if it was just kind of more of like they were just like any other family sort of thing?
I think what carried it so well is it's a perspective that none of us have seen before. None of us have experienced before, right? Something new, and it shows a little glimpse into a world that many people live in our world. We haven't really ever experienced. And I think that was part of the beauty of it. And it did a really, really, really good job putting us in the shoes of that family. And I think that was really, really powerful. I don't think the movie would have carried it all if the family wasn't deaf, personally.
Yeah, I think the movie would have been something I would have seen 100 times before. The fact that it was kind of like driven around the storyline of the family was hard of hearing and everything like that. You got to see a little bit more raw emotion and like the struggles of that type of family, and it's just, I think it'd be a completely different movie. And I mean, it made their performances so much more interesting, but also raw, and just, again, something we haven't really seen before. So the fact that it was greatly represented in this movie, it just, I don't know, it's up the value of the movie. So to answer your question,
I think it definitely makes us think about when we're writing the script. I think that movie would have totally fallen under so many tropes and not been revered as great as it is, and probably not won any Oscars, honestly. I think adding that aspect makes it so unique, and I felt like watching that movie like made me realize, like, okay, you can take kind of a trope, like a bit of a coming of age trope movie, but you can put a spin on it that creates this really cool, different perspective. And you have now a movie now that has like more depth and is actually makes people think, So I feel like that was actually really kind of a good example of just like, if you have something that's kind of tropey, well, maybe just think of it in a different perspective or in a different light, and then you can create something that's maybe great, you know?
Well,
So
yeah, it pretty much was just a coming of age story that we've seen a million times before, but
yeah.
from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need. We need more unique perspectives.
Rochelle, did you have a favorite part in the movie? I know you guys were very excited about one part.
Yeah, that's something that's something I actually want to do right now. Is I want to talk about what our favorite moments in the film were and go in a circle and just kind of talk about them because there were a lot of good moments in it. Rochelle, you want to start us off here?
Okay. Well, I've got 3
Well,
favorite
Okay.
moments. First one, I did enjoy also her performance scene when they cut out all the audio and you kind of saw it from the parents' perspective, which I thought was really interesting because I don't know, it'd be difficult, I can imagine, for the parents to like that you have this daughter who's like really passionate about something, you really want to be supportive, but you can't understand what that is exactly. So I think, and then yeah, that was really neat. And then another scene that I liked was when the daughter and the father on the back of the truck, and he's, I guess, experiencing her singing again, but from the way that he can experience it. Because if you remember, like at the back or the beginning of the film, he really liked like rap music and all that because he could feel the vibrations.
In the bass.
Yeah, and the bass, and but with his daughter, he was able to feel it through her throat. So I thought that was really neat. And then the third scene, I guess it's still third part was still in the same scene as the performance.
Oh, that's right.
But well, okay, at the beginning of the movie, we refreshed everyone to keep an eye out for some signs that we knew.
Yes.
There was three of them, which were ghost,
Yep.
spaghetti,
Mm-hmm.
and penis.
Why did you say that so loud? And we were pleasantly surprised.
We're very mature.
Yes. Rochelle, please continue.
And we were watching during the performance scene, the parents are talking about what they want to have for dinner. And what do they want to have for dinner?
It was so casually dropped. It was like, what do you want for dinner? And then, of course, the sign for spaghetti was your pinkies extended outwards and then pressed together and then kind of like twirled outwards. And he's just like, I don't know,
Spaghetti.
twirl. Spaghetti.
And we caught it and we freaked out.
We lost our minds, honestly. Like,
We're like, we know that one.
That's such a random thing to say in sign.
I
What
never
happened-
expected spaghetti to come up.
months before this, I have this ASL book, and we were just flipping through the pages, and then I just found spaghetti, and I'm like, hey guys, spaghetti. And then that one just got ingrained in my head. So the moment I saw that, I just felt like my world was upside down. Really,
I know that
yeah, I
word.
know that.
It
It was beautiful. Yep. Thank you for sharing, Rochelle. It's very good. Also, one of my favorite moments in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Riley, what?
There it
Yes, there it is. It was kind of like seeing like your favorite superhero show up in a Marvel movie. It's not the spaghetti.
Super spaghetti.
Anyway,
Oh my god.
Riley, please, do you have a favorite moment?
You guys all talked about really great moments.
Clearly.
The spaghetti. Wow, what a great one.
Mom's spaghetti.
Mom's spaghetti. I think, yes, I agree. The cutting out of the sound, I didn't realize how much that was needed in the film until it happened. And then, wow, was that emotional. I was like, that's gotta be tough. That's gotta be really tough because we just watched pretty much, I would say, more than half the movie with sound, listening to it, hearing everything. And then we just spent like 10 seconds like in their the character's actual shoes. And I just thought that was really well done and so simply executed. Just cut the sound out. Like, yep, that was easy for the editing. Like, just take that shit out and boop, and that's it. Like, no sound whatsoever.
Editor's hand was on the dial, and he just
Just
slow,
straight,
just
yeah.
turned it off.
Or it was
And-
unintentional and the audio guy messed up. And they
Yeah.
just rolled with it.
Lost audio for that.
Yeah,
That kind of works.
we don't have audio.
We'll make it work.
Yeah. I did really like that part. I do think my favorite part was the ending, though. I was really hoping she was gonna sing and sign kind of at the end with the performance with the guy she liked at school. So they kind of have like what do they call it? Like a concert basically, and they're having a duet, and obviously they don't really hear or like understand fully what's going on. Like they can't, they were trying to clap at some parts to keep the rhythm. And I was like, oh, well, in my head, I was like, wouldn't it be cool if maybe she signed and then they can at least kind of understand what she's singing about. But it never happened. And I was like, oh, maybe that just won't happen. But then at the end of the movie, she's applying for Berkeley School of Music, and her parents sneak up above, like, kind of, and sit up in the seating higher up. And she's singing and she sees them, and then she starts to sign. And I thought that was really emotional because the people who were judging were confused why she started to sign halfway through. And then they see her family up there who are like really excited and happy for her. And I just thought that was like a really heartwarming, touching moment to kind of have like the kind of crossover of the two things, but then also have everyone who just like is understanding in that air, like, and the judges are like, oh, she's signing for her family, and her family now knows what she's singing about, and she's singing for them, and the music teacher is there helping her out, and it was like a really beautiful moment of everyone, I think, coming together.
Mhm.
So yeah
It was pretty nice.
yeah
I like that moment a lot as well. It
That
was
was
just
it.
like,
Two tears
oh,
rolled down my cheek, one on my left, one on my right. I was like, oh,
it was beautiful.
it was so beautiful.
Yeah. Are we going like clockwise here?
I don't know, we're
Am I-
going
You
all
go
over
next. What was your
the place.
favorite
Okay.
moment?
Well, I got two. Number one, when she is in the class for the first time, or I guess the second time, and they're trying to express how to really let out your emotion while you sing, and they were doing this like demonstration of like a dog. I thought that was really funny. And he's like, "What, are you embarrassed?" Or everybody start doing it, and they all started just like acting like a bunch of dogs for like I don't know how long that scene was, like a minute. It was really awkward. It was really long, and I loved every second of it. It was fantastic.
We never saw that guy again.
You're right.
Like at the concert?
Maybe was
Was
he
he
at the
there?
concert? I don't know.
Brahman has a favorite character. Would you like
There
to
was-
talk about it? Who was it?
Yeah. Anyway, okay. There's one dude in the acting class that like you saw him for a couple like brief moments, but he was like way too into it. Like
Committed.
like that guy was getting hard singing songs.
Oh
I
my
could tell.
gosh.
Like yeah. I just thought it was really funny. He had really
really
fun.
loved choir,
He
man.
had really fun facial expressions.
Honestly, that scene where they're singing happy birthday and it, like abruptly cuts to the next person when they're singing happy birthday, showing like the different styles of how they sing. I thought that was pretty fun.
That was fun.
I like that. Yes, the dog part, and then also one that really kind of hit home for me was you briefly mentioned it, but when she was signing "I love you" to the family as she was driving away, I remember when I moved from Saskatoon to BC, and when I was driving away, that's what my family did to me, because I don't really know a lot of sign language, but my mom's side of the family has a bit of a history with that, so I kind of picked up on the little things here and there, but one of the big things to me was "I love you." So, them signing that to me and then me signing that back when I was, I guess, making my next big journey to British Columbia and being away from my family for the first time. That moment in the movie kind of hit home for me. So I really,
No.
yeah, it was
That's so
pretty
sweet.
nice. Yeah. So, yep. How about you, B-Man?
I think you guys have already touched on most of my favorite parts in the movie.
Spaghetti part?
Yes. Yeah. Spaghetti. Love spaghetti. Yeah. No, I think you guys touched on them all. Like
Can't think of one.
the ending was really touching when she started signing. Although, like, I mean, it's a movie, but there's no way the teacher could have just walked in and been like, "Hey, I'll play the piano for her." They would have been like, "Who the hell are you? Get out of here!"
And also, I feel like once if they saw the parents there, they would kick him out. or
Yeah,
something.
like
they
somebody-
would not be
yeah,
so
they would
okay
not
with
be
it. They were
okay
like,
with
oh,
that.
like, oh,
Yeah.
I was like, nah,
Yeah.
that wouldn't happen.
This is a
But-
feel-good movie, though.
Yeah, it is a feel-good movie. But I mean, maybe they wouldn't. Maybe they're nice, but that part was. I thought that was kind of funny. But I liked that scene. I thought it was kind of funny that like her boyfriend or guy friend ends up being her
Crush?
boyfriend. Yeah, I guess. Complicated. I kind of thought it was funny how he just didn't get in. He's like, "Yeah, I bobbed it." That was it.
Yeah.
I dropped the ball. But I think that was just a way of saying just like, oh, shit.
Yeah,
You're in trouble now, lady. You're in trouble
maybe,
now.
maybe. But
She persevered.
no, I think all the performances were really strong. I thought.
Hmm.
Yeah. Don't have much more to say about it. Really enjoyed it.
Me too. Good movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely glad I picked that one. For sure.
One thing that I didn't like about it.
What?
The bully never got what she deserved.
You know what? You're right.
She should have been like hit by a bus or something.
Okay, let's
Oh my
slow
God,
down.
It's not Mean Girls.
Yeah, that was. Oh man, that's brutal. But yeah, some sort of comeuppance would be really really good.
Yeah.
But none of that happened. But you know what? Maybe in the sequel.
Is there a sequel?
I don't think so. But
But I heard they're remaking Mean Girls.
That's horrible.
I don't think.
Why did it just leave it alone?
Yeah.
Just leave it alone.
Because money, you guys, money.
It was just fine the way it was.
Yeah, but money.
Well, you know what? I'll give it 8 bullies getting hit by buses out of 10.
Oh my God.
Darn man, that's
It's aggressive.
that was all right. Rochelle.
I'd give it 8 spaghetti bowls
Mm.
out of 10.
I'm signing for 2 thumbs up out of 2 thumbs up for a movie.
So what is that out of 10?
A
Well,
10?
2 out of 2 would be like
100%.
That's 100%.
That's a 10 out of 10.
okay. Well, like yeah.
You're giving
You
it.
give
Is
it
this,
10?
is this the first AV
Well, I don't
After
know.
Hours podcast 10 out of 10 movie?
Okay, wait, let's calm down here. Okay, I'll give 9 fingers out of 10 then, because
Okay.
I can't
I saw the
equivalent.
pinky go up though.
Well, I can't put this pinky down all
Okay.
the way. It's
9
kind
out
of
of
a
10.
little
All right.
janky. Let's 9
All
out
right.
of 10 for this one.
That's pretty
Pretty
good.
good.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna say this is also 9 high school quarries out of 10.
Nice.
Honestly, like
With dead bodies or without?
no, without
Okay.
that like in correlation with this movie.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, this movie was really good. I mean, again, the first half it was kind of tropey, but I was still engaged, and the fact that I was so engaged with the story and the performances that I didn't really need to pay too much attention to the cinematography and the filmmaking side of it. That's a good movie.
Well, there's also, I think it was you that said it, and I think I also agree with it, someone said it was, like, refreshing to watch a movie with, like, no, you didn't recognize any of the faces.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I didn't recognize any actors in this movie.
And they all did really well, and yeah, I think it was definitely refreshing and nice to see, like, new talent.
Yeah. And sometimes when you see, like, when you're watching a movie and you see, like, an actor just, like, show up, you're kind of like, oh, it's that actor. And, like, it kind of, like, ruins the character a little bit because you're kind of like,
You have
That-
expectations with that
Yeah.
actor, too.
that isn't the character. That's Will Smith. That's Ryan Gosling. That's, you know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing that comes up in my head. When you
And-
see a new character get introduced, it's kind of like, new person. Okay. I don't know what to expect.
Well, then sometimes also with, like, sometimes you go to see movies because of the actor, not necessarily for the story, but for the actor. So then that kind of, like, that can take away, too, from the film in a way.
I agree.
I felt like actually the one thing I wish could have been done more. Okay, so you know what this movie reminds me of
Was it?
that we've all seen
Yeah.
is Little Miss Sunshine a little bit. just because of the way
I
that
see
the
it.
family interacts with one another.
I can see that.
They're like kind of misfit.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. And I feel like the one thing that I really liked about Little Miss Sunshine is that everything was very unique, I would say. They each had their own little quirky relationship with one another. And it's a coming of age movie, I would say. But it didn't have as much tropes as this one did. And I wish that it was a little less tropey and a little bit more, played a little bit more on the comedy side, because when there was like funny little banter moments, especially people who aren't able to sign or understand what they're talking about, I thought it was really hilarious. So I kind of wish they played on the comedic side a little bit more. But I did like the kind of dramatic moments. It's just, I don't know, I was really enjoying it when they had it. And then when it was tropey at the beginning, I was like, ugh, like, let's just like not. But it made its way through that and became something really good. So
Yeah, it's funny moments.
it did, yeah. And I wish there was more, you know, that kind of humor.
More of the family.
Yeah.
The school life I didn't care so much about. If it was more of the family, I would have been
Yeah.
I would have given it a higher score. But that was my one of my only issue with it was just the beginning wasn't as strong, and the end really brought me back. But I think had the beginning been a bit stronger, I would have rated it a bit higher.
Nice.
Maybe a 9.5. But
Darn, 8's still pretty good.
with what it was, I'd give it an 8. And we're really harsh. I think I've given an 8 to like every movie.
No, not Videodrome.
I think maybe Videodrome I give a 7 to.
I think
Yeah,
it was
think
like a
so.
6.5, wasn't it?
Was it? Oh my
we
God.
lowered our Videodrome.
Viewers, please listen back to our previous episode, Videodrome, to see what our rating was. There won't be a timestamp, so you're going to have to listen to the whole thing.
That's the one I'm editing next, so
Oh,
Woo.
I'll
nice.
get to listen back and realize how dumb I am.
Cool.
Well, who's next?
I think that's me.
Yep.
Oh, shoot. Now
No. Actually, we're gonna have special guest
we're not doing this again.
James.
Ooh,
Just James.
James. Oh, I know James.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Should we actually have like special guests on the show?
That'd be cool.
Yes.
But I
That'd
think
be
we
really
need a
cool.
better recording situation.
Maybe.
I think it would be weird if we're like, hey,
Come in our fort.
Yeah, come in our blanket fort. Hello, Hugh
I think
Jackman.
a
Come in
couple
our
people
blanket
would do
fort.
it. Well, didn't Tyler show interest in it?
That's right. Our music composer on a couple of our projects has shown interest. Hey, one of these days we'll get a nice shiny microphone for each
Yeah.
one of us.
Maybe we can have a,
Or maybe
a
this is-
giveaway,
Guys, we should have called this Blanket Fort Movies. We could have like played into the trope of being in a blanket fort.
It doesn't have the same ring as
I don't
After
think
Hours.
so. I don't think so.
No.
Hey,
Maybe we could just be like, hey, do you want to get the wonderful opportunity of coming under this sweaty tent and filming a podcast with us
On the floor.
on the floor? It's
Yes.
super uncomfortable.
and we're really, really, really close to each other.
Yeah.
It's really hot in here. Hey, you know what? Maybe one of these days,
Doesn't really-
for a special episode, we should get our film school instructors in here.
Could you imagine? We
Like
have,
and share this video
like
or
7 people
this
under here.
this audio to make that happen.
We'd
I
have
think, I think
to
they
video
disown
it.
us
We'd have to
as
video
previous
it.
students. They would cut our alumni status.
Wait, video what? We're in a gross, dark.
We'd have to have like some sort
blanket
of
fort.
360 camera in here that would show us all like huddled into this. Like the
no,
fact that we use like a hot fuzzy blanket too, like just adds to
It's good for muffling sound.
how long is this?
I don't know.
it. Yeah.
Okay, who wants to end it?
Goodbye.
Okay, we're not gonna. No, let's not.
Well, I'm leaving the blanket fort.
This is After Hours. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Say something, Michelle. Say something.
Cheese.